What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully, YouTube will not break down today like it did yesterday during the live show because I don't know what YouTube's issue is because the Wi-Fi is at max. Like it couldn't be any better, but hopefully, it will not break down. I know a lot of people are watching probably the Italy game or any other national team game. I'm not doing it because I couldn't care less. like, I will watch the Euros or the World Cup. I'm not gonna watch international football. Uh, but a lot of things have happened. It's um, it's actually crazy what's happening at the club. At this moment in time, it's so crazy that at a certain level, we kind of got, like, me personally, I'm getting used to it, and every day, if something else comes out tomorrow, I wouldn't be shocked, if that makes sense. Like, I've seen it all. At this point, we have seen it all. We have seen points deduction. We have seen uh, we have seen Pogba testing positive for doping. Basically, we have seen ex-players suing the club. We've seen it all. Like, at this stage, if we wake up tomorrow and there's a new story about, I don't know, insert the player, I think nobody would be shocked. Like, me personally, if I woke up tomorrow and I see another news story about, name it, name the case, I wouldn't be shocked. It's so bad that even when the Pogba news comes out, and it feels normal, basically. Like, it feels crazy, but it gets accepted in terms of, like, yeah. Or the Bonucci thing comes out, and everybody is like, me included, like, yeah, like, this is what we are. Like, this is who we are at this moment in time as a club. It's it's absolutely insane what's happening. Uh, but we need to talk about it. I'm not gonna take a lot of your time. Just also checking if YouTube is back up running for our lives. Also, I'm gonna record a podcast with Julian, like, just in 20-minute time. So I'm not gonna stay on long. That will drop tomorrow. Um, but let's go over the Pogba update and the Bonucci one. If you haven't watched my daily, um, go watch it. But the Bonucci story is oh, my mic wasn't 100% connected. Should be better now. Um, the Bonucci story, excuse me, is crazy. It's like it's unbelievable. It's sad. It's petty. It's embarrassing. Like, just name it. Fill in the adjectives. It's wow. It's just wow. So Bonucci is suing the club because he feels his professionalism, his image got dragged through the mud. And when I saw that motivation, I was like, what image did he have left that wasn't dragged through the mud? Like, somebody, and with somebody, I mean, he needs to come out and explain to me what image he thought he still had. Like, what, like, it's crazy. Like, I want to know what he was thinking. What I think he is living in a different world where he thinks a lot of people still think extremely highly of him, which is absolutely madness because they don't. And at that point, I'm like, what are you even on about? Because this is the first time I see a club player suing a club for telling him, you're not part of the project. You can come to the facilities, but you're not training with the first team because we're building for the new season. Did Arthur do that? Did Zakaria do that? Did Piaka do that? Did Pellegrini do that? No, they didn't. They understood it. And they got told probably a week before training camp. Not like Bonucci in May or March or April, whenever it happened. And he is the typical, like, we know, stubborn guy acting like a child. And to top it off, he's making this worse because he's putting kids into the equation because he's suing the club, and the money he receives he's gonna use to give to kids from his foundation. So he is putting up that. So now it's like the club is trying to win this case, but the story will be kids missing out on money. He's basically telling Juve fans to use the phrase "f them kids," and at this point, I agree. The club should win this case, and with the club again, I mean the family, and they should just offer the money to those, um, to that institution as a gesture. But they should not lose this case because this is absolutely madness. Like he is the B word. When people were telling me he's a legend, it made me sick, and it still makes me sick because today 20 odd years ago, Del Piero made his debut more than 20 years ago. He made his debut, and on the day this comes out, the Bonucci one. And a couple of weeks ago, when it was official, he went to Union Berlin, and people were saying, "Oh, you need to respect him. He is an Azzurri legend." I couldn't give two, you know what, if he is an Azzurri legend. This is a Juve channel. I care about the club. He's not a Juve legend. He isn't. He isn't. Legends are players that played in their prime after winning the World Cup in Serie B, away to Rimini. First day, starting the Serie B campaign with -9 points. Those are legend. Now, that's not me telling players they need to go down and quote unquote throw away their careers. I'm not expecting that. What those players did is unmatched, and it will probably not happen again because it wasn't one, it was a couple of them in their prime, and they did that. Those are legend. That's why I'm not even putting Dybala in that equation. I'm just not. You know, I'm not. But when that Bonucci thing came out a couple of weeks ago, and people were telling me in the comments, "Oh, respect him," I like, he is one of the last players I will respect. Why would I respect a player acting like a child, having a bust up with Allegri, leaving to join the rival, absolutely stinking the place out, scoring a goal at the stadium, celebrating, crawling back because we need to save his career, and we did for a couple of seasons because he was absolutely dog shit at Milan. Why should I respect that? And I'm not even gonna bring up the Keane Cagliari incident because I don't want to even go there. But he is the last person on planet Earth, basically, or in the football world, one of the last persons, because some have done absolutely crazy stuff, to ask for respect, to ask for his image to be restored. Buddy, you're acting like a child. Like that's as simple as that. There's no way to twist it. He is moving like a spoiled child, and it's embarrassing. The good news about this, he will never be back at the club. He will never be invited back to the club. He will never get a role at the club, and that's fantastic news because I don't want him anywhere near the club. I don't want to be a club anymore that just hands up jobs just for the vibes. So that's the positive things about it. He will never be part of the club anymore. He will never be anywhere near the club anymore, and that's fantastic news because it's finally done. You know, it's finally over with, and we can basically move at this point in terms of we don't need to worry that he will be back at the club because what he's doing is just embarrassing. Because what he's doing is childish. Period. So when that news came out today, like first of all, I was like, I smiled because I was like, yeah, you can add that to the list of weird things that are happening at the club. And then I was like, man, you are a sad person. You are. You're a petty person who is stubborn, who is mad that the club told him you're not good enough, and he wasn't good enough. He was crap for two good seasons, injured. Like there was no need for him. I don't care if he wants to lower his wage and was okay to sit on the bench, and that's why I'm pushing for players like Rugani and De Sciglio to be moved on. I don't care if you're on low wages. You're not good enough. Period. And you should not be playing for this club anywhere near this club. I'll keep it 100. I'll keep it stable across the line with these things. And he's angry. He is. I don't know what he is. Like it's just embarrassing. And but yeah, that's who he is. I think if everybody who watched that Netflix series saw that how fake he came across as a leader, and you can even feel the vibes from different players in terms of like, man, this guy again, like, uh, it's just not him as a person, like as a leader, as a guy to follow. He's not him. He's just not him, and this proves it. Like, he is extremely childish. But I think I personally knew that about him, and probably a lot of people now as well. It's certain Pogba will never feature for Juve again. I will talk about Pogba in a minute. I don't know if I'm deluding myself, but Juve is too big a name to held hostage by individual players' drama such as Pogba and Bonucci's. The stuff of the tabloids. The club allowed this to take place. Period. Because they let the media to have a field day every single time. They don't react often. Actually they don't react at all at times, and they only have themselves to blame. Excuse me, if I'm being honest, because the communication, their swiftness to react, to defend the club, to defend the fan base especially, isn't there, and it will not be there. That's not how they operate. So we only have ourselves to blame. That's that basically. Uh, Club needs men, not boys. Too much that would and not enough progress. I agree with that. He was the weakest link at the end of the day. Um yeah. So that's that. It's unbelievable. Like, the last, like, we started this channel. I think the season we signed Locatelli. I think it was back then. I know a lot of people who are here from day one. They will know, and that's like 3 years ago. Is it 3 years ago? It's the first season with Allegri, so it's 3 years ago that we started this channel. Like, we're doing it 1 year, 2 year. We're in for the third year now. A good year and a half on this YouTube channel, we talked about things that have absolutely nothing to do with on the pitch. It's wild. Like, it's like, I couldn't pick. I couldn't have picked a worse time to start up this channel. I couldn't have done it because this is depressing. This is crazy because I want to talk about football, like, good or bad. I just want to talk about football, and it feels like most of the time I'm doing videos that have absolutely nothing to do with things that are happening on the pitch. You know, not even during international break. That's the crazy part. Like, it's unbelievable, but that's the club at this moment in time. Also, like the video if you haven't, because nobody liked the video, and that's even sadder than the Bonucci story, to be honest. So please like the video and subscribe, because I'm not gonna take long. I need to record a podcast with Julian in a good 10 minutes or so. But I just want to come on and talk about, man, that was a good game, or we can talk about individual performances, or like goals we have set, and title races, and cup challenges, whatever. I don't want to talk about doping cases, players suing the club being sued by every single institution on planet Earth. Like, it's ridiculous, but that's what is actually happening. Now let's move on to the Pogba one for the next couple of minutes before I wrap it up. Pogba has been suspended indefinitely. Like, at this moment in time, he needs to request a second opinion, basically, like another test. He hasn't at this moment in time. That's why the club is still waiting. Fabiano Della Valle came out with an update saying that this thing about the doping thing happened in the US when he took things recommended to him by a doctor he knew. The club didn't have any clue about it, so he took those things back in the US. My first question was, surely coming back from the US, whatever, the club would have done other tests. How has the club missed this? And that's maybe a slight worrying part. Like, how has the club missed any of these things? That's one. Two is, you are a multi-millionaire, one of the highest paid athletes, like, not just by Juve, but like Adidas, all those things in the world. How can you be that ignorant, and even the people surrounding you, for allowing you to take substances you knew are not allowed in Europe, even if they're allowed in the US, and you're saying it's pre-season, who cares? how are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Like that's is a desperation mode. That's a desperation mode. Probably me and you will never know because we're not in that situation where we cannot get fit and stay on the pitch. We're not, and it's tough to comment on that fact. But at the end of the day, you should know better, and it's looking really, really, really bad for him. Like even the statement from his agent saying. Um, he never did that on quote unquote purpose, blah blah blah. It already feels like a defense that it's not gonna stick. It feels like he is gonna get suspended. I feel bad for him at a certain level. The hope is the club had absolutely no clue about it because otherwise like the outcome could be much much worse for us rather than for Pogba. You know, um, but the vibe is or the feeling is that he's done. Like I don't think it's gonna be for 4 years, but he will be suspended for some time, and that at that point, I think even he will be like, yeah, let's terminate this contract and let's get it over with, and maybe he will restart in the Saudi league. I don't know, like it's thinking ahead, but this is the saddest ending possible because I like Pogba. I have nothing against that player. He gave me one of the best times um, in my life as a fan because watching him play was a joy. Like it was unbelievable. He went to Manu, never should have left for Manu. Like if he wanted to leave, fine. The Manu one was a big mistake. Coming back on the channel, I said like we shouldn't be doing this. He should not be doing this. I like him, but this is one of the biggest flops ever, and that's not even including what's happening now. Like just injury wise, it's unbelievable. Enzo saying that Pogba's salary negotiation gonna be crazy low. I don't think he's that type of person. I think he will just accept what's coming, and if he tests a positive and the club knew nothing about it, the club has every right, like legally, to just like not pay him. You know, for how long I don't know, but I think they will find an agreement just to get it over with for everybody's sake, like image wise. But this is just bad. Like we wasted a lot of money. Um, and it's just one of the worst situations you could be in because it's insane. Nobody would have thought like doping, like what, even when you repeat it you're like, wait, what, like is this really happening, is this really a thing? And it's real, it's a real thing, and it's crazy, it's crazy. um but yeah, that's 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 what's happening. Lose-lose situation for Juve. If Pogba leaves Juve, some Saudi will sign him, so he wins either way. But yeah, I mean, I think the club at this point is like the wages are off the books, and that's good for the club. But at the end of the day, you invested money, you're not gonna see back. It didn't work out. Like it's just caused more problems than anything, and it's just it's a sad situation, because it's I cannot this this script is unbelievable. Like I don't even have words for it at this moment in time, and the worry part is, and I wasn't even counting on Pogba playing much, um, but that midfield is very, should I say, short stacked, or like not enough stacked, because now you have players like Locatelli was not performing. You have Rabiot, excuse me. You have Fagioli. You have Miretti. A lot of people have question marks about. You have McKennie still at the club. You have Nicolosi. Nobody knows what's happening there. The real star quality is still not there. I'm not saying I was counting on Pogba to be there, but it's a different thing again, over and over again. So it's unbelievable. But it is what it is, I guess. It's just wait and see now, and hoping the club had absolutely no clue, because it could be much worse than Pogba being suspended. It could, and I cannot believe the club have like J Medical like test. How didn't they knew about this? And that's my worrying part. Like it sounds so surrealistic, not real, that the club did not have a clue about this, and that's my worry part. Um, but yeah, that's what it is, I guess. I'm gonna wrap it up because I can see not a lot of people are tuning in because they're probably watching international football, which is fair. Also, I need to record a podcast with Julian in like 5 minutes. So thanks everybody who tuned in to watch it. Apologies for yesterday's mess up with the live. Not sure what happened there. Go watch my daily and check tomorrow's podcast. I will probably be live um, all week. I will try to be live all week because there will be new updates. And also we are doing the preview stuff, after dark live, all those things because we play football on Saturday. We play Lazio at home, and I don't even know in which state. Like mental state with the club, and players coming back late from international break is also a weird thing. But we need to deal with it. So yeah, let's move on. Thanks everyone for watching. Like and subscribe, and I will be back